Are you struggling in defense in FC 25? Well, this is how to stop and create clean sheets against the world's best players. And I'm going to show you guys in two ways. Number one, I'm going to show you on a practice ground. And then number two, I'm going to show you guys in a real life scenario at fast pace against one of the best players in North America. Let's go ahead and dive right on in. And I'm going to break it down step by step in a 4-back, 2 midfielders. That can be 4 backs, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, 4-2, whatever it is. But basically, it's a 4-back, 2 center mids, or 2 CDMs. There is a difference in the CDM and center mid position. And let's go ahead and dive right on into it, as this is your daily coaching. So check out all of our full coaching sessions if you guys want a full coaching session. But first off, guys, I call this level 1, level 2, level 3 defense. I actually show a student this in a previous video just last week. But basically, I'm going to teach you guys in the 3-step process, and then we're going to go through some of this examples as we do this. So first step is most likely players are going to take the wing. Bad players are always going to attack the wing. You do not need to go down through the wing, okay? You never want to attack through the wing because of this. What's going to happen is this defender is going to take this. This is the obvious part. This is very simple, right? We're just going to take away this position. However, what's going to happen is you're going to take this position, and then he's going to be able to come back and create what we call a cutback, right? This player can come through. Maybe this one comes in, right? So this is where most 99% of players fail. They don't do this step where they actually draw this CDM down. They don't draw the CDM down, making it a challenge for you defensively, and opens up what I call the attacking highway. The attacking highway is ultimately a position between the center backs, the CDMs, right through here, where you can get into what I call the Queen's position, which is actually a zone within the attacking highway, which is right in the middle here, because this allows the striker or cam or center forward, whatever you want to call it, to be able to play in any direction and dictate the play at pace and manage possession. This is the hot zone. This is the hardest part. But when you drive the play down, this creates a separation in this space. And this is where 99% of players fail, is eliminating this zone right here. And there's a quick little trick to do it. All you have to do is select the CDM when the play is coming back and hold down R1 as this goes down. This is a very important thing. Do not hold R1 to have him come out. You want him to come like this. So this is where a high advanced technique called multiplayer switching is going to pull you from, I call it MPS, multiplayer switching. This is where you are going to be able to actually go back and forth between between your defenders, and then rotate this position down. And I'll give you guys a full speed example later in this video. So stay tuned, stay with me on this. So let's step through this. Multiplayer switching is basically you're going to switch here and back to manage the zone while holding down R1. So R1 and double R1. So if you guys are on Xbox, it's RB, but double R1 are the most important mechanics in this position. Okay, so the idea is that we're going to drag down, and that's it. That's the idea in this zone. So let's go ahead and fast forward. So typically, this is the amount of space that you're going to see without the CDM position. And so what we really need to do is drag that CDM into that zone. And then that's going to be what I call cutting off level 2. So level 1 is taking the ball and defending this position. Level 2 is going to be level 1 is going to be bringing level 1 is going to be bringing the right back. Level 2 is going to be creating this position here. So what I mean by that is this is an attacking lane 1. This is attacking lane 2. There's 2, 3, 4 other attacking lanes. And so I kind of call this gap A, gap B, gap C. And then we have the wing gaps. Okay, so basically you're going to cut out gap A and a wing gap in this position. And then what's going to happen is this play is going to start to rotate. So what's going to happen is this ball is going to start to rotate this way, which then we need to start setting up defense for level 3, which level 3 is going to start attacking through what I call the C gap, A, B, C. You're going to start attacking the C gap, and you'll see this in a moment. But before we get to the C gap, a lot of the times players won't actually make this play backwards. Instead, they'll take the edge. And so you need to actually close this gap down and just manage this position. This is what I call a holding position. This is what I call possession without purpose positions. So basically, there's 4 of these little zones. This is what I call a possession without purpose position. Essentially, there's 4 of these zones there's essentially 4 of these zones technically on the pitch where I keep my player, where I want to let the opponent have space because it's not an attacking position. So once they enter into this area, this is when we need to start really being quick and being efficient. Out here, let them have space. In any of these zones, let the players have space. Need help making coins? Check out FCalert.ai. Check out our PC trader that's making 150 million coins right now, almost 5 million a day, and it's just growing right now. And all of our PlayStation traders are extremely risk-free, making sure that you guys guarantee coins every single day. So check out FCalert.ai, check the link below, and get started trading with AI. So as the play starts to rotate up, now we need to actually start pinching in and pinching down, just like so. And that's exactly what we're going to be looking at as this play starts to develop. Now, if we choose to push this player, now this is where it gets tricky, because this is where now the player can open up and then attack that position. And so we have to be able to step, if we're going to step high, this is where you guys can take risk. So this is a double move, and this is what separates the Division 1 from the elite and the elite from the pro. This is a pro technique on doing this. You have to take chance at some point if you want to win the ball. So, unless it's a forced error. So, at the pro level, guys, it's pretty much nobody's forcing errors. It's just everybody's a master of the game. And so, you have to be a master of the wit as well. So, technically, there's a passive way to play this, and then there's an aggressive way to play this. Aggressive is winning to win the ball. Possessive is letting them create an unforced error. There's a significant difference between both of these. So what's going to happen is if I'm going to be aggressive, I'm going to try to cut this lane out. That opens up this position. In that zone, I have to be able to multiplayer switch between all 3 players, cut the passing lane, jump this lane. So if he gets me to drop this way, and I think he's going to try to pass this way, and I drop down, then he cuts and then hits and rips the pass here, I need either a offside trap, pulling that defensive line up, or I need to get a defender on him as soon as possible. This is where utilizing double R1 is actually going to lock a player here, but it might pull this down. It just depends. Sometimes it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit finicky, and so you might be able to get double team pressure here. But the problem is you might also get this depending on how the play is set with the algorithm of double R1, so you could run into issues with that. So I don't recommend doing that necessarily, but typically the way I play this is I use an offside trap, drags these players up to this position, and then I'm going to attack this zone while managing and really being close to what I call the crosshair position. A crosshair position is ultimately the position between you and where you believe the play is going to go. Now, typically, that's going to be towards goal, but in this position, we're going to be defending that zone as perfect, and that's why I have Matthias right in that zone. Okay. So now the play is going to be set, and so we have that player step up, the zone comes out, so that opens up, and that's going to create that lane, and so then they can shoot type of thing. So we have to be able to be passive or aggressive, but there's a chess piece to this. If we're passive, then what's going to happen is the level 3 swing. Okay, the level 3 swing, now you're going to open up the level 3, the C gap up here. So this is where the C gap starts to get involved, and so you're going to play. This is when we start talking about pinching techniques. So a pinching technique is going to drive in, it's going to drive in, and we're going to just continuously drive these players into this zone and really focus on actually pulling these defenders into these zones, into these zones, into these zones. And we're just going to try to pinch and then pop the play out. That's the idea. Pinch and push. Pinch and push. Pinch and push. Pinch and push. And you'll see this in my own gameplay. This is the set technique of how to defend this. And so as you see, I get really tight inside, and then we're going to try to push the ball out. The second the ball goes out wide, that's when we get space, and then we're going to be focused on like a rotation and a shift rotation. So this play is going to shift down and shift over ultimately like this. So that's usually the case, and this is what I call a T formation. So basically what happens is you create this like this T shape, right? This T shape. This T shape's important because what I'm trying to defend is I'm trying to defend the attacking highway, and then I'm also trying to defend and slow down their ability to actually rotate the play all the way to essentially to that C gap. So we're going to try to pinch and T, and then what's going to rotate. And so this is where it gets a little bit tricky, is if your T shape's a little bit off, then you can also always pull this this right back forward, which then allows this drop as well. So there's a lot of different techniques for this, but once that goes down, they get really low, you're going to have that your AI is going to break down. And so this is where that T shape really comes in, really is important to maintain. As this play comes in, develop like this, you're going to want to basically defend the interior first and let them have the gap. The only thing you can really worry about is that cutback pass, which is not as relevant in FC25 as it was in FC24. But now in FC25, you're really worried about that near post finish. And so all you have to do when that happens and your goalkeeper's right here is just hold down triangle a little bit and just pull them just a little bit, and it eliminates that position while man marking. And this is the area when the ball gets into this zone right here, where he's at right here. This is when we want to use double R1 to really lock in positions. And if we're in the right structure, we don't have to worry about double R1 having a weird mechanic. We just need to make sure that we close down these gaps and then drag that player then. So this is going to be the technique that you guys will need to do every single time when you are defending. You just can't allow that play through the middle, and you can't allow these gaps to finish. So we're going to be defending an edge and then cutting into the interior, defending an edge, cutting into the interior, defending the edge, cutting into the interior, pushing it out, pinch and push, pinch and push, pinch and push. So let's go ahead and get right on into some of my actual gameplay. Okay, so this is going to be against one of the best players in North America. This is me at the fastest position possible. This guy was giving me a lot of grief. We played really structured. We do break here and there. So you guys want to see really intense play, I recommend watching this in full. So right here, what we're doing is you can see we're pinching, and here's the T formation right as we speak here. This is the T, and they're going to pinch this out wide. So I need to actually defend the interior and let him come inside, and I do, and then we win the ball. Here we go again. Now we're on a break point. We lose the ball. We're going to try to pinch and pull. And so this is a little bit of different formation. Now he's set up, so we actually have to set there. And so right now I'm seeing this position, so I'm going to drag in, drag over, drag down, drag down. And so so now he's going to watch the interior position, so we have to defend that interior. And so he's going to push inside, so now we need to pull this position in, so we need to get him out of this zone. Get him out of this zone as fast as possible. We have to worry about a Trivela here, so as long as we defend the Trivela, but you see that instantly close, pushes the play out. Now we have to watch out for this area in this space. He actually had Patry over the top here. He could have beat me there. Against Nanders, I might have gotten beat in that position. So that was actually a break position because of the attack, not because of my defense. So I hope you understand this. Because the attack was poor, it created space, and so I had to be really quick. But this is happening at a really, really fast pace. And so here we go again. Letting the wing come up. I'm pinching the interior. Letting the wing, I let go on R1 because I do not want him to go forward too far. That's my issue right here. So I let go, and then I let go again. And so then we're going to pinch inside. And here's the pinch position. And now we're really set to try to pinch. And so you can see I turn, pinch, and push. And now we pinch and push him out wide. We're going to try to set in. He's going to go for the C gap. So now this is that pinch position. Here we go. There's a pinch. I actually pulled this a little too far. This is too far for me. And so it allows the interior position. And this is going to be his best shot, I think, in the first half. Oh, he actually doesn't do it. And so then he's going to pull the ball wide. And so here's the level 2 attack. Here comes the level 3. And so now we're going to drag down. Here's that pressure position. And so we're going to stay into that crosshair zone while managing interior. We're playing perfectly possessive. And now we have to watch out for the pass across the edge. I think he's going to hit that pass. I miss it. So now it opens up the crosshair position. So we get right into that zone as fast as we can. I think he's going to step again. Now it's an offside position. So now it's a zone where now he doesn't have a player in this zone area. So now we can pull the offside trap and we can press high. And so that's exactly what we do. It's a little bit late and Vinny somehow gets on. But if you look at this, I just pull her offside. and Sakina almost pulled that. So that was me forcing an unforced error on a defensive position. So that's prime defense. Let's see another clip. Okay, so here's a play from the actual build-up spot. So we'll try to zone in and show you guys some movement with the wings as well. So ultimately, we're going to try to keep him out of the middle. And that's where... So let's see how we do on the build-up. So right now, he's got the wing available. So we're going to try to actually drag down and maintain that interior. So sometimes I drag up. I'm a little bit aggressive. That opens up the wing, but that allows the wing space. So now he just slots... He breaks me. So this is where you guys are going to run into issues. This is where the difference between an elite player and a pro player is right here. So now either you're going to really approach this hard and win this, which a lot of players do, or you're going to be passive here and allow the time and space because he has no advantage. And so I'm actually a little bit aggressive. And so when I'm aggressive, I break into what I call a diamond formation, which brings it like this. So what I'm doing is ultimately I'm deleting the ability to make this play back and forward between, and so I can force him to one side, and that's ultimately what happens. And we let go. I didn't have to apply too much pressure, so it balances. So now we're in a structured position. It looks like his attack's probably going to go this way, but we need to manage the C gap originally. And so there it is. There's the T formation breaking in, and so then it forces a bad pass, which goes into a tackle position, which he wins. And so now I have to be very, very conscientious of these angles. So we're going to try to drive into that space. We need to drag down, drag in. So I actually diamond formation here. So this is a diamond break because I didn't have a lot of time. So this is a little bit of a rare scenario where you'll see me be aggressive to be passive. So this is an example where I don't think I'm going to be able to get my Tweety into this space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to close this lane like this, and this creates that diamond formation again, which then ultimately brings this position down, which now I have a defender in the zone. But what's really important is that I'm managing the interior position like this, and then I'm going to pinch with the fullbacks. I don't really want to step with Bastoni. I just want to manage the interior. So you can see how I step back with him. That's to buy me time, which then creates a very hard puzzle, which now we're back to T formation. So now I have a high pressure. Then we're going to drag down and drag over. And so there's the formation. And so now it's going to force back into what I call possession without purpose position, which then allows me to reset. There we're going to be aggressive now because it's a passing lanes or timing. His timing's out of position with Mendy. He's not a great passer. So now we can zone in and zone over. And so there he's going to go for a level 3, and he does. He barely slots that through. So this is where if I have like a Vieira type of player or Torre, I could probably get this away. But now we just need to pinch in. And sometimes I'm okay with this because of how strong I am in these positions. But here we go. Now we need to pinch over, pinch in. And so he actually does a great fake, and he gets me on a small mistake here. So I'm expecting him to pinch in here and try to speed boost through. 99% of players will do this. This is the difference between a pro player, a top player in the world, versus like a standard level elite player, is you're going to see them try to speed boost here or speed boost here and force the play. He hits a fake and he pulls out. That's a decision that he chooses to do to avoid this zone. I hope that you understand that this is a very important thing. This does not happen to me often. I need to let go of R1. I choose not to. So what happens is now a nightmare for me is this position replacement, okay? This is a position replacement. This is where a lot of defensive breaks and like holding play happen. So now I've got essentially the middle open. So I see that, and so I'm going to manage that position. But what happens is Renard goes all the way out wide. Now she's playing left back without the left back role, and now she's an idiot out there. Now I have Karchawi in the center back role, and I have to as long as I'm manually holding on to her position, I'm okay mechanically with RNG variables, all that. But if I let go of her, it's usually doom. So I need to manage that. And so that's where I pull her right into that space. And so it's a very small position. So now they're going to try to work it this way. So I really have to like step here if I do it right, or step here and try to get him on a shift, because now it's going to be shifty. So now I hold R1. I get pulled down a little bit. I thought he was going to be a little bit shifty. And so he's trying to get back into that zone. And you can see I defend that position right away. And so now he's open on the edge. And so then he just forces a play. He's offside, and it doesn't matter. We win the ball anyway. So he got us really close, but we were forcing these little zones, and we made it just really tough. So we were playing good defense. I had the pinch set. He voids the pinch, which throws me off. I make a small mistake with the R1, but we managed the defensive position. So I am going to show you guys a goal against me. And it happens right at the last second. But let's show you guys the counterattack first. But this is actually a really good wing. So this is starting from level 1 all the way through our defensive technique. So here I try to offside jump it. So I'm going to pinch the interior, force it wide. This buys me time. I got time now. So I'm trying to actually double R1 to hold that position in. So we're going to defend like this and then T-shape. So here we go. There's the formation. And so this is level 1. Now level 2 is broken. So now he has to force all the way around here. So we're in great shape. And so he tries to go right back to level 2. This is why that T formation is very important. If you jump high here, we're going to jump in this way. So it's high pressure, low pressure, high pressure, low pressure, right? And so he forced a mistake. So now we break out. Here's the counterattack. He actually slides. I mean, I'm telling you guys, this guy's not bad. I mean, he slides with Mindy on a breakaway right here to avoid this pass that's wide open. He slides. I mean, that's a manual slide. That's fantastic. That's fantastic gameplay. This is the type of gameplay I love to play. These are the type of players I love to play. And this is why I've actually been really enjoying this game lately. It's because it does feel a lot better. It feels smoother. So here we go again. Here's level 3. And so level 3 is going to pull over. So there we go. We're going to stay right into that zone. And then we take a step position off of a forced error. And then we're going to wait. We're going to break this position. Make him think we're going to hit this pass. We break his crosshair. We take a risk here, and then we're just straight on through. And that's a swing sweep, and then we do the R1 double square, and that's going to basically finish that one off. And so that one is pretty clean. He beats me right here. So, okay, so let's see this position. We're in a good spot here. We need to drag over, drag down. I think I step here, and I don't need a step. But this is where things get a little bit choppy. There's the space. So now we're broken on the interior. I'm just going to try to show you what it looks like when we do break. And so there's a step. I accidentally step with Bastoni, and I just need to get that. So sometimes a step has worked in that position. That's fine. But let's see here. Attacking zone. Do we get into a break? Almost have that hero card wins it. And this is where I get in trouble. So hero wins a high in a high pressure position. That forces my CDMs out of zone. I'm on 50 setback. If I'm on a higher pressure, my pressure is going to be a little bit higher. But then you risk that lobbing ball. And so now we're set in a bad spot. So now I need to pull these guys in. I don't get the right R1. So if it's Matuidi, I'm probably going to hold it. So now I was trying to actually use, I'm on the wrong play here. I needed to be Lorente, and I need to be dragging here, and I need to be dragging interior. So now Lorente needs to be playing what I call a position replacement of CDM, and then Barea needs to be rotating to the fullback position. So I need to be dragging it like this. And so that's actually where I'm going to probably cut behind. And so he rockets this pass. This is what I call an animation break, where it just dummies right past your player. That's an animation break. It's because I'm holding down R1. And then right here, he passes it back. We're in solid structure. Now I need to pinch in, pinch over. And so we're good. But now I need to drag down and drag in, drag over. And I drag slightly out. And then I'm holding down R1 again to break that position. And if you look, I'm just slightly off. It doesn't animate for me. Probably like a month ago, it probably would have animated. But it breaks my position so off of RNG variables. So there's 2 animation breaks. And then he gets into this attacking zone. And then R1. And it passes animation. See, and breaks my animation again. And then now it sets up a shot. So now I need to defend the interior. And then I player switch wrong. And I'm expecting this to be Lorente but Bastoni and Lorente to be the opposite, and that's why I'm running away from the play. So that's basically how he scored on me. It has to happen really quick on a breakaway. If you get me into a set position, it's not usually how things are going to work. I do rotate because he is managing a lot of possession. I get scored on. Basically, here's another example of me getting scored on. I'm trying to clear the ball. So I'm holding down square and I'm trying to clear the ball, and it just bops it up. And so then this puts me in a really dangerous, and he just gets a perfectly efficient pass into my zone. So this is where it gets frustrating, is when you're trying to do something completely different than what's happening, like mentally, like tactically. I think that's the main thing. So like when I'm trying to send the ball like up to this position and it goes like here, that's when I get really annoyed, and I'm trying to get it right up to here, because why would I try to lob it right there and then just it happens to be a long pass header right into, and then a chest pass off of Vinny, perfectly efficient. So when I get scored on, that's what happens. And so when I really need a lock in defense, what happens, guys, is if we actually go into my defense, what you'll see is if we actually look at this position, the cams are going to have a huge space. And so what happens is the pass between level 2 and level 3 is really hard to defend. And so what you'll actually see me end up doing is you'll see me switch to a 4-3. Let's see here. You'll see me switch to a 4-3-2 or a 4-3-3 defend, and I throw in a center mid like Roberto. And what you're going to see in defense is you're going to see Roberto come back into this zone here. And that's going to give me just a little bit more pressure right into that position. So ultimately, that's where I can manage that zone just a little bit better and a little bit harder there. So, but ultimately, guys, that's the video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.